88 days ago, Damian Lillard requested a trade out of Portland, and today our Adrian Wojnarowski reports that he is on his way to the Milwaukee Bucks. This is what Damian Lillard is bringing to Milwaukee. And actually, we've heard from Dame. He just put this out on social media. He said, "The casuals will not be addressed, but the Trailblazers fans in the city of Portland that I love truly will be, and they will be addressed truthfully. Stay tuned, excited for my next chapter at Bucks." We certainly will stay tuned for when Damian Lillard has to say more. But for now, let's check in with our very own Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A., Damian Lillard is now a member of the Milwaukee Bucks, according to our Adrian Wojnarowski. Your reaction, sir?
Well, mixed reviews. Number one, from a basketball perspective, it's a perfect fit for him. I think it definitely catapults the Milwaukee Bucks into, and not to say that they weren't in the championship picture to begin with in terms of championship contention, but right there, I think you have to look at them and you have to look at the Boston Celtics as the two top teams in the Eastern Conference, to be quite honest with you. It's with mixed emotions, obviously, because I've known him for years and I know that's not where he wanted to go. It certainly was on his list of second or third choices, but it clearly was not his first choice. He wanted to be in Miami with the Heat. He wanted to be a teammate of Jimmy Butler. He wanted to be a player being coached under Eric Spoelstra and run by Pat Riley himself. That is where he wanted to be. He certainly wasn't thinking about going to Milwaukee. That's not a place that he wanted to go, but he'll make the necessary adjustments and do what he has to do, because from a basketball perspective, it is an ideal fit. Certainly, we can't blame the Milwaukee Bucks for making the deal. You want to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo happy. You want to keep him in Milwaukee for years to come. The only way to do that was by making sure that he had the tools necessary to legitimately compete for an NBA championship in his eyes, and acquiring Damian Lillard to join the rest of that crew certainly pulls that off. This is a big time day for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, it is a huge day for the Milwaukee Bucks. And both Richard Jefferson and Kendrick Perkins, Stephen A., were saying, you know what? Milwaukee, they should be the favorites. They are the favorites to go and win the title, and anything less at this point is a disappointment. Do you agree?
Somewhat. I can understand where they're coming from. I don't definitively disagree. What I will say is that I'm not going to summarily dismiss the Boston Celtics. You know, Marcus Smart is gone. We understand that. And that's a tremendous loss for them. But you had guys like the reigning sixth man of the year, Malcolm Brogdon. You got Derek White there. You kept Jaylen Brown, giving him a $300 million deal. You kept Jason Tatum in tow, and you acquired a 7'3" shooter in Kristaps Porzingis, who just finished averaging about 23-24 a game, who clearly can shoot from the outside, and because he's 7'3", you can help your front line in terms of Horford and Robert Williams and those guys block shots and what have you. And so when you look at it from that perspective, and you understand that you're possibly going against the likes of a Milwaukee Bucks squad with Giannis, with Brook Lopez, with Bobby Portis, you need that additional size on your front line. The one team who does have it is Boston. You need stars on the opposite side. Boston's got it with two of them in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Right.
And so we can't ignore and dismiss the Boston Celtics by any stretch. But I do think it's a two-horse race in the Eastern Conference between Milwaukee and Boston in light of what's transpired.
So, Stephen A., on our show, we like to do something called Perk's Word of the Day. But since we were lucky enough to have you, if you were to come up with one word, one sentiment to describe Damian Lillard teaming up with Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is still a pinch me for me, what would that be?
Lethal.
Oof, good one.
Easy. Lethal.
Because?
Lethal, because now you got to remember, Giannis doesn't have to come downhill towards you now. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't have to be dribbling the ball the full length of the court, coming downhill and doing things that way. That's to his advantage. But now when he kicks it out, he's got somebody to kick it out to that's a sniper, that is a closer. And more importantly, when the game is on the line, you're not looking for Giannis to come save the day, because the one thing Damian Lillard has proven throughout his career is give him the ball when the clock is winding down and ask him to close the deal. That's his specialty. So Giannis no longer has to be worried about that to that degree. He can average just 31 and 13 and do what he does. But in the end, when it comes time to close, particularly from long range, he no longer has to worry about having that responsibility. He just got somebody that can handle that all by himself.
I love it. Lethal. That is what Giannis Antetokounmpo and Dave.
I'm on fire. It's NBA, I'm